Elon Musk has stated that SpaceX's South Texas Starship will construct up to 5 of 2-stage mega rockets by 2023. Assuming Elon's prediction is true, the business intends to increase Starbase's useful output in 2023. Welcome to First Class Tech, and in this video we'll see how the SpaceX Starship factory is aiming to build 5 mega rockets in the upcoming year. SpaceX's Boca, Chica, Texas hardware ventures begin in a vacant field in late 2018, with Starhopper testing beginning in 2019. In late 2019 and early 2020, the business began constructing the foundation of the current factory, depending mainly on numerous massive tents similar to those used by Tesla. SpaceX had originally begun replacing the tents with larger permanent structures, but 2 of the original tents remained to house critical sections of the Starship manufacturing process. In terms of useful production, manufacturing slowed slightly in 2022. That slowness is most likely explained in part by the necessity to relocate equipment and operations into the first completed section of Star Factory. However, SpaceX was primarily concerned with completing and testing Starship's S-24 and Super Heavy B-7. Both stages of the current rocket intend to undertake Starship's first orbital launch. The fully stacked rocket is the largest ever manufactured, standing roughly 120 meters tall from ship tip to booster tail. The Starship is far larger than SpaceX's current Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets. It's also designed to be totally reusable, whereas the Falcon's family orbital upper stage is just around 80% reusable. If SpaceX meets its technical ambitions, Starship might someday cost a factor of 10 less to launch the Falcon, while carrying 5 to 20 times more payload every flight. In short, it has the potential to drastically reduce the cost of access to orbit. When combined with the orbital refueling and ability to transfer propellant between starships reusable, Starships might well outperform the expendable performance of the Falcon 9 or even the Falcon Heavy. But first, SpaceX must ensure that Starship can even reach orbit. Ship 24 and Booster are closer to enabling Starship's maiden orbital launch attempt than Ship 20 and Booster 4, older prototypes that were also stacked a few times in 2021 and early 2022 before retirement. Following their most recent full stack milestone, they may be only a few significant tests away from being certified for flight. According to Elon Musk and a NASA official, the final big standalone test between Booster 7 and flight readiness is a full 33-engine static burn. B7's 33 Raptor 2 engines could deliver up to 7,600 tons of thrust at sea level, making Starship the most powerful rocket stage in spaceflight history. A wet dress rehearsal is a normal test performed prior to a rocket launch that is aimed to simulate all aspects of the launch except the engine, ignition, and liftoff, of course. Most crucially, this entails completely loading the rocket with propellant and completing all of the procedures that would be required for the identical rocket to be certified for launch. The first full-stack WDR, like Boost 7 and Ship 24, will put Starbase's launch facilities to test. The January 9th assembly of B7 and S-24 confirms that the WDR will almost certainly take place first, as executing the first 33 Raptor super heavy static firing when completely stacked would put the Starship in jeopardy. If B7 fails proof testing, Ship 24 could fly on a future booster. Ship 24 will most certainly be withdrawn from Booster 7 following the WDR testing, leaving Super Heavy for one more round of solo static fire testing. If the testing passes, Ship 24 will be restored, probably for the final time. While hardware issues continue to outweigh paperwork, and FAA launch license is another big impediment to SpaceX and Starship's first orbital launch. SpaceX and FAA are currently negotiating the terms of such a license, which is reliant on the implementation of dozens of mitigation steps. Because Starship's exceptional size raises the risk it may pose to neighboring inhabitants, the license is likely to be conditional on ground test findings and will be one of the last gates to be opened. Ship 24 didn't finish proof testing until late 2022, and Booster 7 is still many major tests away from gaining full trust in its design. SpaceX has only undertaken limited testing with fully stacked Starships, decreasing the company's confidence in the assembled rocket. By the way, if you are watching us for the first time, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can enjoy future videos while getting updated. Coming back to the topic, it's hardly unexpected that SpaceX only built a few functional ships and boosters in 2022, given the lack of data needed to know with certainty whether the altered designs of Starship and Super Heavy are good enough for numerous orbital test flights. Musk said SpaceX plans to produce approximately 5 full stacks this year, which translate to 5 flight-ready Starships and 5 Super Heavy rockets. In 2022, SpaceX completed Booster 7 and began construction on Boosters 8, 9, and the majority of Booster 10. Booster 8 was quickly demoted to the retirement yard. Booster 9, which had some significant design revisions, underwent limited proof testing before returning to the factory in early January, most likely for Raptor engine installation. Booster 10's fate is unknown, but it is a prime example of how quickly SpaceX can truly produce large Starship hardware when the conditions are right. SpaceX began stacking B-10 in late October 2022, and 3 months later, the vehicle is only 2 stacks short of full height. During the same time frame, SpaceX completed and promptly retired Starship S-22, completed and began testing Ship 24, completed and began testing Ship 25, and completed stacking Ship 26. The improvements to Booster 9 protected from the most sad imaginable scenario, which is retirement before flight. Even if Booster 7 fails during pre-launch testing or during its launch attempt, revealing significant design defects, it's feasible that Booster 9's improvements have already fixed those faults, allowing it to continue the flight test campaign. The fate of Ship 25 is considerably more dependent on the fate of Ship 24. Ship 25 will begin pre-launch testing in early 2023, powered by Raptor engine. SpaceX eventually completed 2 full stacks in 2022, with a third anticipated to be completed, although with less assured outcome in early 2023. This year, delivering 5 entire stacks, or 5 ships and 5 boosters that make it far enough to be paired with another fully stacked, would be a significant improvement. However, as it was in 2022, higher volume manufacture will remain a risky proposition until the vehicle designs are fully validated. Given how long it took for SpaceX to partially qualify Super Heavy Booster 7, the biggest unknown appears to be until at least another month or two, if not until mid-2023. Starship production has several uncertainties of its own, all of which are worsened by not knowing whether a Super Heavy launcher will be ready in time to launch each new ship. Finally, due to a completely other limitation, 5 full stacks may be all SpaceX needs to manufacture over the next 12 plus months. The FAA concluded an environmental study of SpaceX's Starbase, Texas facilities after a lengthy and painful process, allowing a maximum of 5 orbital Starship launches each year. The FAA orbital launch authorization for Starship, which has yet to be awarded, could be even more stringent. A second Starship pad in Florida is unlikely to be certified for orbital launches until Starship has proven to be relatively safe in South Texas, which may take 12 to 18 months, if not longer. Given that the requirement for a backup Dragon launch pad is entirely entirely at NASA's request, there is a fair probability that the agency will insist on it before SpaceX can fly Starship from Pad 39A. Elon Musk postponed the first Florida Starship launch from late 2022 to Q2 of 2023 earlier this month. It is exceedingly improbable that SpaceX will be able to complete the LC-40 modification by Q2 of 2023. SpaceX will have to perform the already difficult and time-sensitive construction project on a high-security military facility next to the world's most active launch pad. Unless SpaceX is ready to severely limit the LC-40's launch cadence, which would likely render SpaceX's plans of 60-plus flights in 2022 and up to 100 Falcon launches in 2023 unfeasible. The work will take considerably longer than it would under normal conditions. Surprisingly, this speaks well for the flurry of Starship test flights in 2023, as much of the hardware required for 3 flight tests is already nearing completion or is nearly ready to begin pre-flight testing. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. Before that, we'd like to know whether you think Starship Factory will be able to achieve its target. Let us know in the comments below, and like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos just like this. We'll see you in the next video.